Alright guys, what's up, man? We got a Range Rover here. I think a 2011. I've been reading up on the boards. A lot of times I hear people speaking about the issue that this car has with the putting the car in drive and it gets stuck. Now, yes, on 90% of cars, most time, it's usually an issue with the brake sensor. Okay. Basically, there's a brake sensor that you press, and it releases the mechanism or the solenoid that loosens the gear shift. Okay, so I mean, if this is happening to you, that's the first thing you can do. It's an easy. I mean, the brake switch is not very expensive, so it's a cheap little test you could run. And for most cars, that's usually what it is. A lot of times the brake switch will go. You might have issues with your cruise control, or you might also have issues with the brake lights not working. That's a good sign. But in my experience, that's hardly the problem with this car. I hear a lot of people say it, but it really is. It's never the case. So in my anecdotal experience, a lot of times it's the problem has to do with two things. Most times, if you don't know what I'm holding, this is the gear shift that we pulled apart. So you got to kind of take the whole bezel out here to get to it. You can lift this part up and you can see, you can get a quick glimpse. It's supposed to actually be this way of what's going on, but you really can't access anything from inside here. So what usually is the issue, and I've seen this happen on a lot of these type of cars, European cars, Benzes, Mercedes-Benz, BMW. It's actually happened to my 5 Series. Sometimes it's actually this strip here. It's one of the first things that can go wrong. Sometimes this strip will break. It's actually some wires in here, and it will cause you a whole bunch of problems like transmission issues that's very hard to find. So like for instance, I had a 5 Series a little while ago, and this little strip right here caused so much issues. So you want to check that out first. Just see if it's broken anywhere, if there's any pieces cracked or anything, and that's the first thing I would check visually. You could also use if you have a tester, you can test it. But this car, actually, it was this solenoid right here. This solenoid, when you press the brake, basically, this is what opens up and loosens. There's a little slot in here that opens up that makes this able to go from park, drive, whatever. Now, if you're stuck somewhere, you can, there's ways that you can just loosen it just to get out. There's ways to do it. But if you want to fix the problem, most time it's this solenoid right here, or it's an issue with this wiring right here. And of course, make sure you check your fuses and stuff like that first before you go any further. This is how the part looks. Unfortunately for this car, it doesn't sell separate. You can probably you're gonna have to buy the whole assembly, which is of course major bucks. Maybe you go on eBay, or you have to buy it from the Range Rover dealer or the Jaguar dealer, some places, and you should be good to go. Any questions, send them to us. We'll answer it. This is not a fun job, and some of these actually need to be programmed back. So beware. Okay, guys. Any questions? Send it to the email combustionchamber@gmail.com, and you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend. Later.